Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Love Origins, where we hear people's real life stories of romantic, platonic, familial, and self-love. I'm your host, Candace Spencer. This episode is part of a unique season for the podcast. For season 3, we're talking with authors and cultural commentators involved in the sharing of fictional love stories and exploring how fictional stories impact our perspectives on real life love stories and vice versa. I love to read, especially romantic fiction. I'm also a very proud Hallmarkie, someone who loves Hallmark movies. So I am super excited for this season, for this topic, and for our special guest today, Brianna and Lawrence Goodwin. So please introduce yourselves and share whatever you think is important for listeners to know about you.
Well, thank you.
I'll follow your lead.
Oh, okay. So we are Brianna and Lawrence Goodwin. So we've been married for 16 years and together for almost 20. And we are just best friends who fell in love with each other. We have 3 kids. Ruben, Silas, and Mercy, and Lawrence is in the military. So we are a military Air Force family. And number one about us is that we are believers. We're Christians, which pretty much dictates everything that we do, or it should. We try to make it number one in our life. So anything you want to add?
Yeah, what she said.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah. I tried really hard.
Awesome. All right, so tell us a bit about who y'all were before you met. Like, what were you focused on? What were you interested in? Kind of what was your vibe?
My vibe? I don't think I had a vibe. I was trying to figure out what my vibe was. I would say before I met Brianna, it was the beginning of college and leaving high school, and
you were Mr. High School.
Trying to come up with the next chapter of where I was going to head with my life. And yeah, I think the only thing I really knew was I didn't know anybody at the college I went to. We went to Georgia Southern. Desperate to make friends at the very beginning, just because I'm more of an introvert by nature. And I think I had a goal that I wasn't going to go throughout college and have no friends. And I think a lot of prayer and some weird stunts from me early and often in college, like how I met my best friend is I went and bought a lightsaber from Walmart and started sword fighting with people as they would come through the stairs. I had an extra set. And, just stuff like that. And then that's how I met some of my friends that are friends today. And
best friends.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So wait, you had 2 lightsabers and people come down the stairs and you'd hand them one and then you just start going?
Yeah, you just start fighting. And then after you're done fighting, you're like, oh, by the way, I'm Lawrence.
Please be my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I, like you said, we met in college, but I was very much throughout high school, like Mrs. Youth Group. So I did think I did not want to go to college. I wanted to be an actress. So I told my parents, I'm going to move away and go to California and be an actress. And they said, no, absolutely not. That's not what you're doing. So I followed a high school boyfriend to college. So I decided I was going to go into youth ministry, which is very different than acting. But my senior year of high school, I felt like, oh yeah, I'm going to go into ministry. And I went to one of the biggest party schools in Georgia that Georgia had to offer, Georgia Southern. And very quickly, God kind of changed that route. But I was just super focused on, honestly, having a good time in my freshman year and meeting people and truly pursuing Christ the best way that I could, and in as many avenues as I could in college. So that's really who I was before. I was very attached to my family. Just normal 18-year-old, I guess.
Okay. Are y'all both from Georgia?
I would say I call Georgia home. I grew up a military brat as well, and I spent the most time in Georgia.
I am from Georgia, so I had never left Georgia or moved until the military took us out of that state. So I'm a Georgia peach, which I think you knew that, Candace.
Yes. I did.
So.
Okay. And you wanted to, could you major in youth ministry, or were you majoring in something and you were going into youth? Okay.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. When I went to school, I met with what do they call it in school? Like your counselor.
Yeah, the
Academic advisor.
Yeah, guidance of some sort.
Yeah.
And I said, what degree can I get where I don't have to take any more math or science? Like that was truly like my only goal. So I bounced around quite a bit, and then I ended up in fine art. So my degrees are in fine art and religion. Yeah.
Cool. What made you want to be an actress?
I love attention. I was always really into drama. All through middle school and high school, I did drama in our youth group, and then in high school, I pursued it pretty seriously in plays. And I just was determined that like my entire life, I told everyone I was going to do that until about my senior year of high school, and I was really like, oh, maybe I'll go into ministry of some kind. But I didn't know what that would look like either. And when you're 18, you don't know what you don't know. That was a good sentence. You don't know what you don't know, So yeah, I feel like pretty quickly when I got to Georgia Southern, and I just feel like God really planted a love for ministry in me, but then used it in a way that I didn't expect him to. Clearly I'm not in youth ministry right now. But I just wasn't sure what I was going to pursue, but I knew I had to go to college. Like my parents were very much like, you will go, figure it out.
Fair enough. My parents are the same way. They're like, you can major underwater basket weaving, but you're going. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Do it.
Yeah. Lawrence, what was your major?
So I ended up graduating with a history degree.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you know you wanted to join the military in college?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I left high school, I thought there for a little bit that I would join the military. I applied for ROTC scholarships, and I had a couple in-state ones, and it wasn't to schools that I wanted to go to. And I played basketball in high school. I had a basketball scholarship to go play basketball at a small D3 school. And through, I would say, a lot of prayer, I probably the most time I've ever prayed in my life, I was like, hey, what's the next step? And out of nowhere was, I think, the Lord really impressing on me to go to Georgia Southern, which was kind of funny because I had applied for Georgia Southern my freshman year of high school on a free application to use it as practice. And when I was praying about it and Georgia Southern kept coming up, I was like, I didn't even apply. Like I was like answering the Lord. I was like, I didn't even apply to Georgia Southern. And I had a little box, and I dug through the box, and there was the application, and it said, accepted. And I was like, oh, okay. But by the time I got there, I wanted to be an engineer. And I was engineer my freshman year, and I wasn't thinking about the military. And then I met this girl freshman year, and I think once we started dating, I literally went to my counselor and I said, hey, I'm in all engineering classes. What's the fastest degree I can get that I can graduate?
Get out of here.
Yeah. Because, yeah.
We laugh all the time that we really feel like, I mean, even 20 years later, it's interesting to see how God's providence like really brought us to the spot where we would meet, because there was no reason for either of us to go to that school. Truly, I had a full ride to 2 other Christian schools, and like I said, I followed that high school boyfriend to college because he convinced me to do it. And you went, but you had scholarships to other schools, and it was just one of those, it could only be God, sort of thing, not just to meet each other, but to really bring us to himself. But I don't think
the military resurfaced really until
we were engaged.
Until later. Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit, and then we'll go forward to that part. How did y'all meet exactly? So you're in school. Do you in the same class? Okay.
Lawrence doesn't like it. So my freshman roommate was one of my dearest friends, is one of my best friends. Her name is Katie. We've known each other since we were in 7th grade, and I Lawrence dated Katie. We lived in a I just can see you looking at me as I tell this story, and I usually like don't see it. I'm sorry. Okay. So Lawrence dated Katie. Now I did see the first night at a Christian at like this Christian campus ministry we went to that I went to. I saw him. He had just gotten his first tattoo, and I was like, that guy looks good. And then I didn't see him again for about a month. Like it was right before Christmas break, and then I didn't have a boyfriend at the time. Just want to throw that out there. So I got back from Christmas break, and my roommate Katie was like, I like this guy named Lawrence, and I said, oh, that's awesome. And he came to pick her up for a date, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So I just brushed him away from my mind. And then one night he came to our room to pick up something. And we started us and another friend were there, and we started talking, and we stayed up until like 3 or 4 a.m. that night talking about the Lord. And then we started meeting, the three of us, to another friend, every night to have what we called God talks. And we would just stay up every night until the early morning hours talking. So that's how we met. And then once Katie and he just knew it wasn't going to work out. I don't think you were really interested in me for a while. So what's really insane, and people think I'm crazy, but I wrote down in my journal, Lawrence is my husband, and I just have to wait for him. Like I just kind of had that feeling in my gut. I had just kind of talked to the Lord and said like, hey, I'm young. I know I'm young, but I want the next person to be the person. Like, I don't want to waste time with people. And I just knew, and I was not a very bold or flirtatious person. So I just kind of hid in the background. I was like, oh, he's my best friend. He's the greatest, until God really opened your eyes to how amazing I am. So that's how we got together. Yeah.
Okay. Lawrence, anything you want to add before I ask more questions about that?
I think that's a fair assessment.
I also want to say
there's a lot of Uno in there as well.
There was a lot of Skip-Bo.
Princess Uno.
Yeah, and Princess Uno. Yeah. Lots of just time spent together. I do want to say that we love Katie, and our kids call her Aunt Katie, and we are very close. Like, there's no bad blood. We love Katie.
That was going to be one of the questions. Like, is Katie still around? Like,
yeah. She is.
Okay, great.
We love her. She's happily married and has a beautiful baby, and yeah.
We love that. Okay, so at what point did you write down that he's my husband? Like, when in the friendship was this?
Pretty embarrassingly early. I think, I don't know. I think that there was something about like the way that Lawrence talked about the Lord that was obviously attractive to me. But it was early. It was while he was still dating my roommate, but I truly was just like, I can't do anything. I've just got to wait it out. So it was pretty early on.
Okay. And you just knew, like, you were confident, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was, I will say, like, it could only be Jesus, because you can testify. I was not like I did not have a lot of confidence. I would have never told him I like you or anything like that. You know what I mean? I was just kind of shy around guys, I guess. I would have never pursued him in any way. Yeah.
Did you have to talk with Katie before y'all started dating? Was that a thing, or like it just worked out?
I don't think there was any talking. I think that I think we tried to, I would say there was several months between us dating and then you and I dating, mm-hmm. But when you're in a small little community, like we were in a small Christian community, like an organization on campus, you just always want to be careful, like with people assuming timelines and everything. So we really just kind of kept it to our best friends and kind of kept it quiet.
Yeah.
And by the time, that we kind of announced that we were dating,
was that school?
Yeah, it was several months, but I think by then there was conversations had, but at the time,
yeah, It was not the smoothest transition.
Yeah.
I will say that. It wasn't I mean, I think if you go back and you're like, I wish that I would have handled this probably more maturely, obviously, as than 18-year-olds do. But it definitely, we had conversations, but we privately would just like spend time getting to know each other better with just close friends, and like no one knew we were dating for a while, just out of respect for her and her feelings.
So how did y'all start dating exactly? Like, Brianna clearly knew. We had the moment in time.
You can answer this one.
I would say kind of in line with what Brianna said, with really just kind of trying to date with intention and find the right one. I think that's why Katie and I didn't date for very long. And I would say that there was a pretty in-depth time where it was just constant prayer with like, hey, make sure that I'm just following you. I think the moment that it clicked was Bree and I were super close friends, and I kind of looked at her as one of my closest friends at the time. And I was just having a prayer, and I said, hey, Lord, just send me somebody who's exactly like Brianna is my wife. And as I said it, I was like, hang on a second. And I think that's the moment where it hit me, where I was like, wait a minute, like, why couldn't she be somebody that could be my wife? And I think it was like a moment where I just had been blindly kind of walking through our friendship, not even looking at it romantically. And then it was this maybe a layer where I was like, oh, well, maybe I do kind of like her. And
you want to tell them how you started it all?
I think we just continued doing like what we had been doing, watching a movie or going places with a variety of friends. And one night we were watching a movie with other friends, and I had my feet up on a TV stand, and Bree put her feet up on the TV stand, and I started playing footsie with her.
You played footsie with me, guys.
And,
You're so into
like,
me.
I don't know. Like, that just kind of sparked something where it's like, oh, well, maybe she has feelings for me. And then I took her to one of what would eventually be one of our favorite spots, and I just kind of laid it out on the table. I said, like, hey, I don't want to be the first one to say it, but like, how do you think of our relationship? And kind of indicating that I, had feelings for her. And I think she was the first one to be like, well, I like you. And I was like, well, I like you too. Like, we're really good friends, and I think that this can kind of work. So
kind of.
Yeah.
The rest is history. We've been together ever since.
We're still on kind of.
Yeah. That was on April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
That's legitimate. That was on April 1st. So
we're going on the longest April Fool's joke of all time.
20 years worth.
Yeah. 20 years. Yeah. A footsie.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brianna knew kind of in that moment, and Lawrence, you had that prayer moment. Did you kind of know, like, kind of immediately she was your wife, or you just thought she could be, let me see what happens, and then there's a moment later on where you're like, this is for sure my person?
Yeah, I think things accelerated really quick. I mean, we were really young, but I think it was probably the first time when I was dating with intention, and I think the foundation was in Christ, and everything pointed very early that she was the one. And I think within 6 months of us dating, I went and asked her parents if I could marry her, and that's at like 18 or 19 years old. And I just told them up front, I was like, look, I know that she's the one. Like, you can wait until I'm done with school, which was their preference, or I would like to marry her now. So I think I was really, really confident that our relationship was something different and special.
Okay. So did y'all get married in school, or did you wait till graduation?
Oh. No. I think her family wanted me to graduate, and I respected that. That's kind of leads into what I said earlier. That's when I went to my, whatever you call them. It's not guidance counselors, but that's when I went to my department head or whatever, and I said, hey, what's the fastest degree
I can get out of here.
that I can get?
Yeah.
Because after having that conversation with her dad, I took full course load. I took summer classes and I graduated early because my intent was, okay, if you're going to tell me I need to graduate, I'm going to graduate as fast as I can.
Yeah.
And we got married the week after I graduated.
Yeah. So we dated for 3 years, which was a long time.
Yeah.
A long but very good time.
Yeah.
Okay. And had you already graduated, Brianna, or you were like a year behind?
No, I didn't. So I had another semester. So we got married the week after Lawrence graduated, like you said, and then we moved back to the town that we were going to college in and lived with your roommates for a while and lived with one of my friends for a couple of weeks. And then we had an apartment that another one of our friends lived in. So we actually didn't live without roommates for the first almost 2 years, because then you went to OTS after. Yeah. So we had roommates for at least a year.
As well.
Yeah, it was good.
It's a unique way to start a marriage, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's one challenge y'all encountered in your relationship, and what did you all learn from it?
Yeah, what did we...
I feel like for me, I was thinking of our move to Missouri was pretty challenging. So we've moved often. Obviously, the military has moved us often, and we live in DC right now. The move before this was to a small farming community in Missouri, and everything, by all accounts, we were very excited for that move. But we had lived in Utah for 5 years, where Lawrence had really enjoyed his job, and then I had been in full-time women's ministry for 5 years, and I really felt like, oh, this is what I was called to do. Like, I just had found my purpose and my passion, I felt like. And then when we moved to Missouri, it was right before COVID, which I feel like this is everyone's experience probably, but it was interesting because it was Lawrence's first command. So he was having kind of the same feelings I had in Utah, where he was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, this is the greatest job. Like, I'm really enjoying this. And I was probably as like close to depressed as I've ever been. It was just a really hard season for me. I had a hard time making friends, and just didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't have women's ministry anymore. And then COVID was happening. So I was kind of stuck at home in solitude. Yeah. So it was one of those, isolation. There we go. That's what I was thinking. And when I say like, probably every night I was crying, and Lawrence was just walking me through, praying for me, and really just pointing me to Jesus, and then saying like, what can I do? What can I do to help you? And I feel like that was such a interesting time, because looking back, I'm like, man, I was just so deeply depressed, but also can see what God did with that season of life, and how I was just thankful for you. Yeah. You just really encouraged me and pointed me to Jesus truly the whole time. So when I was thinking about like what a challenge in more recent years, I think that was such a challenge, not necessarily in marriage, but in our relationship, where you were really having to lift me up every day, physically sometimes, like, you can do this, it's gonna be okay.
I think it was a good season, though. I think.
Yeah.
I think in that time, that's when you started writing.
Yes. So that was something that all through college, Lawrence said, you should be writing. And I had a professor, my freshman English professor was like, you should be a creative writing major. And I said, what kind of job could I possibly get with that? I'm going to get a job being a fine artist. I truly remember saying like, no, I can't get a job doing that. And when we got to Missouri and I was just really struggling, I think we were maybe 6-7 months in, and you said, what other time are you ever going to have where, you know, you're in isolation? There's not much you can do otherwise. You should be writing. And that's when I wrote and published my first book. So truly.
And she took to it very quickly. I mean, like,
very quickly.
Every night going to bed, she's in her computer. Yeah. I'm falling asleep. It's 11 o'clock. She's writing. She's laughing at her own jokes.
Never do that. Yeah. Can you think of another time that was like a difficult? That was a good one.
I would say, when I try to tell people like our marriage, it's just been, I don't know, it's just super easy.
That is true.
I would just say she's my best friend.
Yeah.
I could probably count on like one hand the times that we've genuinely like argued.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare.
It's incredible.
I think some of it, I'm sure it's the Lord. Like truly, it's just we just have one of those marriages. But
yeah, it's like advice we got early.
Yeah.
And I think that we repeat it to ourselves. It's like, if there's any kind of conflict, is this a sin issue or is this a personality issue?
Yeah.
And if it's a personality issue, then you can overcome it. But if it's a sin issue, then you need to address it. And it's never really been a sin issue.
Yeah. I think that's something that I remember when we would get into like first early in marriage, when we would get into like bickering, we would physically pause and be like, is this a sin issue or a personality issue? Like, how can I work past this?
Yeah.
Because everyone nitpicks and stuff, but
I don't like your toothbrush touching my toothbrush.
Like weird stuff. Real stuff.
It's like that's a personality thing. Or,
yeah. Yeah.
Small little things. And I think when you paint it through that lens, you start to see like, is this really worth getting upset about? Especially when the person's like, look, I wasn't even aware that I was doing that. So yeah. That chart got a lot of use. It was a physical chart on
our refrigerator.
Really? Okay.
It's something we tell people all the time too.
We'd walk over to the chart and we'd be like, is this the sin issue or is this a personality? Like, which one?
Usually it's a personality issue. It's like a good, I mean, I feel like that for all relationships, when it helps you think the best of someone. Like we've said that, like, I always just expect that you would never do anything to hurt me.
Yeah, that you have the best intentions.
Yeah, the best intentions. Yeah. And it helps in the scope and the lens of like hard times, is that I know that you're cheering me on more than anyone else. Yeah. So why would you be doing something to harm me or hurt me? Yeah.
That's a really good perspective. I've heard people talk about how the attitude, like you're on the same team, like it's y'all against the problem. Sounds like y'all kind of have a similar thing of like, it's the two of us, so therefore is it just personalities that send, like, no matter what, we're going at it together.
Yeah. I'm sure the Air Force has bred in that a little bit too, because we very early were by ourselves.
Yeah.
You don't have family around, and then who do you have if you're like at odds with the person you're living with, that's really difficult. Yeah. So I think it's nice that we
kind of like being around you.
Yeah, you're like pretty cool.
So what are some of y'all's favorite moments from your love story?
Footsie is high up on there. I wrote it down. Did you see it? I wrote it down. Yeah. Footsie's high. Okay, I will say one of my favorite moments, and this goes back to like the Air Force. So we went on a mission trip with 6 of our best friends to Africa right after we were engaged. And aside from that being an incredible life-changing trip where we definitely should have gotten married and were offered to get married in Zambia, while we were there, we weren't really sure. Lawrence was about to graduate and we weren't sure where we were going from there. He was like, he's got a history degree. What are we going to do? And we you were sure, but I didn't know that. So we had been really discussing this a lot because like the time was ticking. Like we wanted to get married and we knew that we had to have, a life plan. And while we were in Africa, I had a dream about the Air Force, which is not something that we had ever discussed. And I remember one night we just sat out after.
We said we would pray the entire mission trip, and then
what we were doing,
and then we would meet up at the end. We said, let's focus on the mission trip. Let's be in constant prayer.
Yeah.
At the end of the mission trip, let's have a you and me conversation about what the next step is, next. Like as in like the last day before we head back.
Yeah. So the first couple of weeks, we were really like, are we going to move to Zambia? And the missionaries that we were with. Stop you. So the missionaries that we were with, they were like, hey, go get married. We'll let you come back here. We'll have a house for you. They were really like, you could come back and be full-time missionaries. And I was like, yes. Yeah, let's do that. But I had a dream about the Air Force, and the last night we got together, whatever night we decided to pray together and talk through it, I was like, this is so weird, but I had a dream about the Air Force. And he said, I've been praying about the Air Force for 6 months, and I was just waiting for God to give you the clarification. So that's really, I think that's such I don't know if it's a favorite moment, but it's definitely like a very clear, this is what you're doing as a unit. So that was for me. Do you have a favorite?
I would say finding out that you were pregnant with Ruben for the first time.
Yeah.
When doctors said that she couldn't have a baby.
So we were told
that was a big moment. Like I think we kind of embraced the dog as our kid
baby
for a little bit, and then kind of out of the blue after the doctor said you couldn't have babies, and God's given us 3.
That was crazy. So, yeah, 3 miracle babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I would say top of my list is attending the Georgia Southern Florida game.
Okay, so right. we should clarify here, Lawrence. I'm a Florida Gator. I'm a double Gator. I've gotten both my degrees from there, and so I probably should have led with that.
Do you remember that game, Candace?
Sadly, no, but
we were there. We were there. We were in the
50-yard line.
It was
50 yard. Those are great seats.
Yes,
wow.
And we were in the Florida section, which made it better because as they were losing with no passing yards.
I had my boss gave me the tickets. He was a season ticket holder, and he had great seats. And
it was
when
amazing.
We won that game. It's way up there. It's way
it was like with our wedding day, and that is not an exaggeration. We truly the joy that we had at that game.
We have that in a frame downstairs, and when people come visit, we take them to the picture.
It's in our kitchen. It's with the tickets and the picture of us just celebrating. It's really funny that I didn't know she was a Florida.
Oh
man, this interview just.
Oh my gosh. It really did. Everyone
on the way in was so nice. They were yelling at us saying thanks for coming. We're going to destroy you. Yeah. And then on the way out.
We truly were just chomping at them as they were leaving early. There was a kid crying in front of
me.
And Lawrence just couldn't stop giggling. It was just, truly.
Every time we get a first down, she would turn around and cry, and I just kept cheering.
Oh, man. So good. Look, Candace loves it for us.
Oh, my gosh. I totally cut that part out of the interview. It will never make it to the light of day.
Right, don't you do it. Oh, my gosh. That's really funny.
That's hysterical. I'm also I feel like it's a very Southern thing to be up there with my wedding day. It's just one football game that I loved.
Yeah.
But I don't want to exaggerate. It really was. We didn't even mention our wedding. Our wedding day was great.
Yeah, wedding day was nice. It was good.
That's the top memory too, I suppose. Our engagement, Lawrence Plant, he is an introvert, and I remember we listened to this. We both thought we were believers our whole through high school, and when we went to college, we really were introduced to the gospel, and in a very real way where we were we need a savior for our sin. We are guilty of sin. And during one of the sermons, a guy was talking about God's display of love and how it was in front of many people. It is when a man proposes and it's in front of many people, the display of love is so great. And I was I want it in front of many people. And Lawrence did an awesome job. I think our engagement was really pretty incredible. We have so many 20 years worth of really good.
So what was your engagement? Because you have to share that story now. You teased it.
So I had worked with the campus pastor, and we were doing a leadership kind of offsite. Yeah. And I said, hey, it would be great if you guys did some team building exercises. And then one of the building exercises, I just need to make sure that Brianna's blindfolded, so I have enough time to get everybody in this one spot. So then when she takes the blindfold off, she's surrounded by her family and everybody.
And friends. And it was at our college, there's something called Sweetheart Circle.
It's the same bench we went to when I said, hey, I like you.
Yeah. So it was a really special spot for us. But I was they were I was so hyped up. I was I'll be the first. I'll go. And I just played right into their hands. I was blindfolded. They lead me across. And then all of a sudden, I
had to run across this giant field with 100 people. And we're all trying to be super quiet. Amazing. Yeah. And then
my hands were out. I remember that.
I got in place and she took the blindfold off and I was on one knee.
Yeah. It was awesome. It was really, really awesome. I was very, very shocked.
Yeah. Instantly started crying.
I wept for a long time. Yeah. It was good. It was really good.
That is awesome. Wow. Love it. Okay. Some really good moments. The Georgia Southern
Yeah.
game, tragically. The engagement, and other good moments. Love it. Okay. So let's transition to talking about love and fiction. And I'm curious about what love stories across the categories we talk about here. So familial, platonic, romantic, and self-love. What kind of stories did y'all grow up with? And which ones had the biggest impression on you? Either real or fictional.
90s rom-coms. That was um
Absolutely.
I think anyone that reads my rom-coms would know like that girl loves some 90s rom-coms. I like the references, I like pop culture. If Kate Hudson was in it, I was watching it, you know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of yeah, what do you think? I wrote down Lawrence's favorite rom-com because you are a rom-com lover. You do. Guys, everyone let it be known that he loves a rom-com so much.
I think some of them are funny. I don't know. I've always liked the tear jerkers. It's like when Forrest Gump is saying goodbye to Jenny. And,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you like more heartfelt. But
yeah, I think heartfelt 90s movies like that, like the early 2000s. I can't start firing some off. I don't.
Fool's Gold is your number one.
I love Fool's Gold.
If Fool's Gold is on, you're watching it.
You know,
I mean, books wise, like I love to read, so I don't even know that I could put like a pinpoint on reading like what love story. I obviously like Pride and Prejudice is pretty high up there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll probably think of one like later, and I'll be like, "Dang it!" But like, I don't know, like what's some of my movies I gravitate towards, I guess. I don't know.
Top Gun.
No.
No, it really, I would say Fool's Gold is like at the top of your list.
Yeah.
I think you like more dramatic movies. I will say that in any story, any movie we're watching, not necessarily any. I remember like when we watched Psych. Do you know the show Psych?
Mm-hmm.
The first time we watched Psych, and Lawrence had been watching it for whatever reason, I forget what, and he was like, "Oh, they're just teasing. Like, when are they finally going to get together? Like, you're looking for the romance in the story too." Yeah.
I don't like a long game like that.
No, he does not like a slow burn.
4 seasons to get together.
Yes.
Like, come on.
I just commented on that on something because he was complaining about a slow burn, and he does not like that. He wants insta love.
I will say I just got into the show Leverage from 2008 to 2012, and my favorite characters take actually like a full 4 seasons to get together. The show is 5 seasons long, and one of them is like into their person the entire time, and it takes her 4 whole seasons to come around to be like, yeah, now we're together.
It had to be canceled.
It's in the word of Pam Beasley. When I look back at myself, she's like, she's so sad for herself that it took so long for her to find Jim.
She wasted so much time.
You just wasted time.
Yeah. The Office should be on there. The highest of romance story.
Minus the last season.
Yeah, not the last season, but yeah. I'm trying to think of any other things. Like, I think for me, real wise, like, my parents loved each other and bickered a lot, but I always knew that they loved each other. That was like a real romance to watch. I think like we saw people in our churches that had like healthy romantic relationships, and yeah,
hopefully we're living our kids' romance story.
Yeah. That was really good.
It's true.
Don't cut that out.
That was great.
I love your mom more than I love you.
100%. Yes. I was here first. Yeah. You like chose to love me, and them, it's different with your kids. Yeah. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. I was gonna say too, A Walk to Remember is one of my favorite movies. It's like a 2000s love story, very dramatic.
I don't like to feel feelings, and that is something like if someone tells me this sad, I'm like, you can't. No, I don't.
I'm sorry. Didn't you write a whole dystopian YA trilogy like that people like lose their minds over? I actually have not read that because people react so strongly to it.
It's funny. I'm always like, I didn't cry writing it. I don't know.
Maybe. There's a possibility.
Did you cry in What Remains?
No, but I'm saying there's a possibility that you did.
I cried during one scene. I will say that though, when I wrote that book.
I don't want to kill you.
Yeah. There were yes, there were moments. I think when I wrote that book though, that the first book was when we were in Missouri and I was going through a really hard time. So I think that when I look at the first version of that book, I'm like, oh girl, I see what's happening. Like you can see very clearly I was just struggling. So the third book was harder to write in some ways because I just was like, well, I'm just not, I like writing rom-coms. I like making people happy. Now I think that those books are really hopeful and they have love in them. And really it's more focused on the love of God and the hope that we have in him than a love story, a romantic love story. But yeah, I don't like to feel the sad feelings. A Walk from Home is too sad.
That's fair. It does end tragically, spoiler alert. But it's a really beautiful story, though. Granted, I was also like 10 years old watching this movie. I had no business watching it. But I had read the book, and I was like, the book is really beautiful. The movie is different, but also like equally good, which is very rare. So I was like, this is my favorite movie of all time.
This is my favorite movie. I love, listen, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner. Or he's going to hate this because he does not like this, but Last of the Mohicans. Guys, when Daniel Day-Lewis is like, I will find you no matter how far. Like, that is top tier romance to me. He's going to jump through a waterfall for me. Yeah. Please.
He abandoned you in a cave.
He comes for her later. Nothing could keep him from her. I mean, I grew up, my mom.
I hope Daniel Day-Lewis gets this. He was a terrible lover.
How do we... Oh my God.
I hope he's watching this right now.
I'm gonna quote that later. Oh God, he's a terrible lover. Yeah, I think I did grow up with my mom. Like my mom loves movies, and we watched a lot of movies. So Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was on the top of my romance of my list. But like the romance in that is epic. Come on, you love that. Kevin Costner? No, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay, so as we've established at this point, Brianna, you are a writer of both YA dystopian trilogies, which I will read eventually one day when I want to cry, and also rom-coms that I have read and absolutely love. And so how does your own love story impact how you incorporate love into your work of all categories? And Lawrence, how do you think about that work? Or how do you think about the way Brianna incorporates that into her work?
Can I go first?
Sure. I would just say my big takeaway that I've always loved is that at the core of her rom-coms, it's always the Christ message.
Thank you.
And there's been a time or two where I've been reading it on the bus or something, and I have an emotional moment where I'm like, "Oof, that was a good one," and I can kind of see it's like her platform to kind of tell the world the gospel like through a love story.
No.
Yeah.
I think as far as our romance goes, we have a lot of fun together. We do have like when people talk to me about banter, I think that we have banter that I'm
funnier. So yeah.
Anyways, I literally get paid. We don't need the kids here right now. The kids do think that he's funnier. It's the worst. But he's just my best friend. I think it shows that like most of the characters in my books, just like being around each other. You know what I mean? But I think the banter probably just comes from our own life where we just have fun. We just have a lot of fun together. I think it shows.
Yeah.
I am funny though. I keep telling people we just went on a trip to Wyoming together and we were only there for like 2 or 3 days, but it was the first time we'd been away in a really long time. And I homeschool our kids and I'm just tired. And multiple times on that trip, he was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so funny." I was like, "I know. I know I am. I'm just tired."
Momming it.
Yeah. I'm just a mom all the time. I'm hilarious. But yeah, I think that I pull a lot of just, I always tell him, because I have some friends that will read my books that know Lawrence and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that was such a Lawrence moment." in the books, and it's hard not to like sprinkle you throughout like all of the main characters or pieces. Sometimes I put Easter eggs in there just for you that like only he will understand, like, oh, I know this is for me. But yeah, I think that it's just to
make sure that I'm reading the books.
That's true. He does read all of them. It's really wonderful. I know that I'm very lucky in that.
It takes me a while.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite one, Lawrence?
A favorite? Is that what you asked?
I liked Maple Melodies. Pretty good. I thought the banter was pretty good in that.
Was it?
I think the jokes were funny.
Thank you. Yeah. So people know this if they've read Forget Me Not. That was my latest release, but that was Lawrence's. The original conception was Lawrence's idea.
Okay.
I did not do it the way that
She took writer's liberty.
I did. So it was funny as he read that one because he was like, I would not have done it this way. And I was like, well, when you write your own book.
Here's the thing: when you're married to someone who writes rom-coms, it's funny to pitch your ideas all the time.
Oh my gosh, he really does.
We'll be brushing our teeth or something, and I'm like, hey, so here's the setting. You have 2 lawyers in a plane, and then Bree sometimes is like, oh, that's a good idea. And I'm like, yeah, write it down.
Sometimes it's like, I am falling asleep. And he'll go, I have an idea for a book.
I have an idea.
And then the next day he'll say, do you remember the idea that I gave you? No.
If it doesn't make it in the book, it never happens.
Yes. He also occasionally will be like, rate all of my ideas right now from like 1 to 5. What is the top idea?
Like? So then best? I can mentally keep going down that storyline.
I'm curious about the 2 lawyers in a plane. That's my jam.
I know. It's a punchline that needs to be solved.
We'll figure it out. I do think
they're sitting on opposite ends of the plane, and I don't know, something happens that
you're just gonna.
This
is a new one. I've never heard this idea. They need a lawyer, or they are a lawyer.
They need a lawyer in the middle of the plane, and then 2 of them come towards each other.
They're making an agreement,
and that's the first time that
they decide they need a lawyer.
The first time that they've met.
Or it could be like someone's like, I need to get a divorce right now, but that helps like. They end up like saving that couple's marriage, and then also getting together.
Guys, are we doing this?
Actually, I like that idea. Okay,
look, you don't even need me.
Look, you have.
No, we need you to write it. We're just going to give you ideas about it. That's all.
The 2 people who are getting a divorce go on the plane, but they sit on the opposite end of the plane because they're so mad at each other.
Why are they on a plane together to begin with?
Because they're going home.
Okay.
They sit next to a lawyer each, and they start talking to each other about they need to get a divorce. And that lawyer are like, well, hey, I'm a lawyer. I can help you out. I'm a lawyer in that town. The 2 lawyers meet each other because during all of the...
after the plan.
During all of the lawyer stuff, that's how they meet. And they find love by breaking 2 people up. Who don't break up. They rekindle their love.
I see this.
And then they fall in love.
Yes. No, see, this is what's going to happen.
I'm not joking. That's a decent idea.
The 2 lawyers,
I'm with you, Lawrence. I'm with you.
Hold on. The 2 lawyers are going to meet on the plane, and they're going to like hit it off, but they don't talk about what their jobs are. But then when they go to the town that they're going to, they find out that they are both representing the other couple, like each member of the couple in a divorce agreement. So they're like at odds trying to beat the other couple.
I like the plane.
It's enemies to lovers.
Now, see,
kind of like our idea better too.
See, I do too.
Sorry.
The plane is such a universal thing, and it makes it funny because figure the odds.
Make a vote. Put a vote on the podcast.
2 people sitting on opposite ends of the plane, and they're both sitting next to lawyers. That is ironic. That's
Alanis Morissette.
A good start. See, and that would go into the book. Just for the record. This would go into the book.
I got her. You might think you're funnier, but I just got her to laugh.
That was funny.
The book. And then what would happen is what you just witnessed in real time. I would say they need to be on a plane and everything. And then eventually she'll put them in a carnival or something. And I'm like, that's not really my...
It's so true. I will say though, like, you are my favorite person to brainstorm with. I remember with Honeysuckle Breeze, I had like I will get stuck somewhere and I'm like, I need a quirky thing. Like I need something that's gonna play throughout. And with that one, he kept playing, the kids were playing Would You Rather constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you said, do a Would You Rather. And I was like, I'm gonna do that throughout the book. But you are good at giving me like random things that
all right.
You're
gonna hear it here first because I think this is gold. You tell me. I'm pitching you an idea.
The idea you had the other night?
Yes, this is a good one. A girl, all right, so a guy likes a girl. She's not into him. They get into a conversation, and she, on a whim, says, in order for me to go on a date with you, you would have to do something manly like skydive or something. But she doesn't think anything of it. But he's terrified of heights. And he ends up booking a flight, but he wants to prove to her that he did it, but as a surprise. So he has a GoPro on, and he tells the guy up front, like, look, I'm terrified of heights. You're going to have to kick me out of this plane. And the guy's like, if you're terrified of heights, why are you doing this? And he's like, I'm in love with this girl. And she said that I need to jump out of this plane to prove to her so I can go on a date. Well, he forgets the whole thing's on recording, and he's struggling. This is the funny part. The guy's like, all right, it's time to go. And he's fighting him. He's like, no, I'm not going to go.
I need to tell you something.
I'm not getting out of this plane. Well, the guy who he's attached to says something like, I hope she's worth it. And then as he's jumping out, he gets caught on the camera, and he's like, I would jump out of this plane every day if it meant I could get a date with her. And then she gets the video. So the guy, I think the guy who is attached to him sabotages him and emails the video to her. So the guy doesn't do it. Like, he doesn't know it's happening. But she gets the video of him jumping out and then him saying, I would jump out of the plane every day if it meant I can date her. That's gold.
Okay, clarifying questions. So does he make the jump or he does not make the jump?
He does, but he gets forced out. That's the funny part. He does not do it gracefully, and he does it, screaming and everything else.
He pees his pants.
He does something.
Okay.
Embarrassing happens. That is a legitimate
idea
that Lawrence.
All right, so I'm pitching it to you on a scale of 1 to 10. What is it?
What are we rating it for? Like romance, for
a scene? Only a scene.
Yeah, because that's like an idea of an idea.
It's not the core, but it's a part of a book, and it's a critical milestone.
I love the idea of someone being so committed to somebody they would do something that scares them. I think that's cool. I think that's important. I think it's also like it shows you're willing to sacrifice for love. My only thing is, like, if she isn't interested in him, is it truly worth it? Like, does she end up being like, actually, I do like you, I just didn't know it? Or if she, I don't know. That part's so impressive.
Okay, that's a great question because I've already solved that.
Okay, let's go.
Lawrence should be writing rom-com, basically.
She is just not interested in dating. It's not him. She's just not interested in dating. But when she gets the video, she has a moment kind of like where it's like, hey, why can't you give me someone like Brianna? She has this moment where she's like, oh my goodness, like, the funny part would be, why did he jump out of a plane? That's crazy. Well, when she approaches him about it and like kind of confronts him, because again, he did not send her the video.
Why did he not send her if he did this whole thing for her and recorded it?
Yeah, he just doesn't think it's going to work. He's like, no, that's crazy.
But he does something scary.
And maybe he did it. He doesn't send her the video because of how he acted in the plane. He's embarrassed.
Okay.
But where it gets resolved, I'm losing it here, but it gets resolved because, shoot, I lost it. But like, dang it, I just had it.
It's okay.
She had asked him, she confronted him about it.
Yeah.
She seen the video.
She doesn't remember telling him about jumping out of a plane. So when she approaches him, she was like, hey, I got this video and you jumped out of a plane. You're crazy. Like, why would you ever do that? And then he's like, you told me to get a date with you, I had to jump out of a plane. And she's like, I never said that. But then she remembered and she's like, oh, I did say that. And it kind of changes. It's not in that moment that it's instant, but maybe down the road, she's like, oh my goodness.
The
like
grand gesture.
He did do something that I asked him to do.
Okay.
This is what our life is like often.
This is 24/7.
This it really is. Like, and when he says the brushing teeth, I think he does it when I'm brushing my teeth specifically because I can't talk back. Like, it was yesterday before work, and you were like, okay, book idea. And I was like,
here's the scene.
All right.
I love the grand gesture. I'm a big fan of the grand gesture. I think that's a really cool one. Yeah.
You could be a genius.
What's the score? What's the score?
I would give it a 6. You resolved my question about her not being interested in him.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Say it again?
I said it needs further development.
Yeah, but I love a grand gesture. Like, I love a grand gesture. So I give it a 6.
Okay, so you heard it here. As soon as you see one of my characters go skydiving, you'll know it was a Goodwin original.
It'll probably be bungee jumping now.
Oh, I do think bungee jumping is...
Or base jumping. I just saw a video of someone base jumping with a rug. Like that versus having it like behind them. It was like in front of them, which I've never seen.
You could not pay me to do that.
Same. But jumping out of something. Off of something.
You wouldn't do it.
I would never jump out
What
of a
scary
plane
thing
for
would you do for me?
Nothing.
I love you so much. That was honest. That was really honest. Would you do skydiving for me?
No.
Lawrence hates jump. Like, he hates heights. You don't like falling.
I'm sorry, aren't you in the Air Force?
Yeah, but the planes fly. They don't fall out of the sky.
But they're still up pretty high.
Yeah, but I have confidence in the planes.
But not in the parachute if he were to jump out.
No.
Okay.
No. Nah. How many videos people like their chute has issues? No way.
There's a backup chute.
Have you gone skydiving, Ken?
I have not, but I literally had this conversation with friends on Saturday about doing it. So I may be doing the next couple of months. I'm down for it. Yeah.
If you do it, you got to send us a
video.
video.
We need to know.
I definitely will. Definitely will.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Okay. This is great. That will be a clip. I will poll people for the what was our initial idea? The plane idea. Lawyers on the plane idea. I'm going to poll people for that.
Lawyers on the plane. That's
a great idea.
Lawyers on the plane.
I have too many ideas. My God.
Okay. What is one thing y'all think that real couples do that would be boring in fiction, but is essential to lasting love?
I think I put real life romance. I like in fiction, it's a lot of grand gestures, you know? And I will say that, like, I honestly try to put real life romance into my rom-coms because I just feel like the little gestures are what mean more to me than the big things, you know? Like, Lawrence once surprised me with a trip to Europe, and that was one of the coolest thing that has ever happened to me. But I like the little moments where he does the laundry and I'm gone for a day. I was gone at author events this weekend, and Lawrence refinished our table with the kids, or like little serving each other moments. I think are things that don't always seem really romantic because they're not always like shiny, you know. It's like you putting Mercy to bed tonight because you know it'd be easier, you know. So I always tell people when they're getting married, like, marriage in my mind is about giving the other person the bigger piece of cake, or like
you stole that from me.
No, I didn't. So I love, like, you know when you scoop ice cream for yourself of like chocolate chip cookie dough, and you want like as many pieces of chocolate chip cookie dough, and if you scoop 2 bowls, like, you know which one has more, and it's about giving it to the other person and be like, I want them to have the best bowl of chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, you know. And I think that is really what real romance looks like compared to fictional romance. Like, I just want the absolute best for you. over myself. Do you have
Yeah.
what do you think?
I would just say for me, it's just being near wherever you're at. It's I don't know.
It's Friday nights on the couch watching
Yeah,
The
I'd
Office.
rather be sitting next to you.
Yeah.
Than doing.
Yeah.
Anything with anybody else.
Me too.
And it's just we're not always talking. It's just you're just next to me.
There's some like if you like tonight, Lawrence has to work. And I said, I can work next to you. And I think that's real, like, yeah, you're just like most comfortable with the other person. That's hard to show in fiction, I think, in those like quiet moments that you're like, oh man, I would rather sit and work on the couch next to you in silence than go anywhere with anyone else. Sure.
Nice. That's really sweet.
Thanks. I fed him his answers.
He played it very well. Like, Lawrence, I fully believed you.
Don't embarrass me in front of my friend.
Okay, so for every episode of Love Origins, we do a pop culture tie-in. And for this season, it'll be focused on the author and their work as a way to highlight their work. And so my question, because I'm very curious about this personally, is which couple from Brianna's books do y'all think your relationship is most similar to? And it can be different answers. It doesn't have to be the same answer.
Do you have an answer? Because I do have an answer, but I don't want to influence you.
I think, I don't know, Dakota and Sadie.
I love them, but those are my favorite. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, that's what I think.
We weren't enemies.
I didn't say enemies. It's the banter.
The banter is good.
Him pursuing her.
I think Lawrence is the most like Dakota, for sure. It actually was embarrassing how when people are like, he's my favorite. I'm like, mine too.
Well, he's my favorite. I love that book.
And if you look at like the cover of Major Fireworks, I think it was Hannah Hood Lucero was like, oh my gosh, now that I know Lawrence.
No, yes, it makes sense. Okay, I kid you not. I don't know if this is why, but the whole time we've been doing this interview, I'm like, Lawrence reminds me of somebody. I have no idea who. But he reminds me of somebody, and it might be that. So I tell you, I love that book to pieces. I love that.
I do too. I actually think that when the things that Dakota does for Sadie are very much how Lawrence loves me. It's very much like planned out, like how can I surprise her? How can I bring her a treat? And then just like trying to outdo the other.
The car scene, like where your car is falling apart.
Okay.
Like, and I say yours because that's totally it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We love each other so much. Yes. I think I'm glad that you said that because I didn't want to influence you. I think we are the Colonel and Joni and his Joni. But mostly because when I first started Sugar Tree, I kept thinking about like, because we move every 2 to 3 years and our kids as a unit only have each other, right? And us. And I sometimes think, and I'm sure other people in the military do, like, where are they going to end up? And will they be friends when they're older? And what kind of people will they fall in love with? Like, will they want to stay put or will they want to move out? And I think, when I started that, I was really thinking about them. So then as you see the Colonel and Joni giving wisdom or like meddling, I think Lawrence is very much like the Colonel. You're very quiet but wise and gives really, I imagine me being like, give me some grandbabies when I'm older. So I think that like, I don't know, it's funny because we're not young buckaroos anymore. I picture us as like the older couple of adult children. Yeah, that's one for me.
It's really cool. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I love the Colonel and Joni. I also think
she's a little wild.
But she's very much Southern mama meddling. Like that's very much like quintessential Southern mom.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I don't think I mentioned this. I grew up military. My dad's retired Navy.
Oh, okay.
And so it has the thing of like your people are the only ones that are your constant, like that is very real. And I think it really makes you closer as a family. Like it makes you really like family is everything because it's the only thing that stays the same your entire childhood, like the people you grew up with. No one has known you your entire life except for them really. So yeah, that's really cool. And
you have siblings?
I do have a brother.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. And I think we both appreciate roots, but also really enjoy being on the go. And so like we would love to like live overseas and like do different things, kind of just based on how we grew up and having that opportunity and thinking it was really cool. But also like I think we both talked about like having a compound of just like our family wherever we are so that we're together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like that's just what we know, and so that's what we want to do.
That's the dream.
Michael Scott, I want to grow up and have 100 kids, so I have 100 friends, and nobody can say no to being my friend.
So true. It's so true. When we talk about retirement, like one of our dreams is to have an alpaca farm, and our oldest is lately has been like, can I just come work on the alpaca farm? And I'm like, yes, of course. Everyone's welcome, please. Yeah.
Why alpacas?
Why not alpacas,
Yeah,
Candace?
I don't know. Let's go pick something. Yeah.
It'd be just an adventure.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want a front porch with a giant window, and I want to see the alpaca in my front yard. That is the vision.
That's the dream.
That's the dream, right?
Okay, cool.
Sounds like we're joking about it, but we're not.
We flew up to
Yeah.
Wyoming to go look at land.
Yeah, we just were like, are we doing this? Yeah.
Okay, cool. I hope to visit your alpaca farm one day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please do.
You're welcome.
Okay. So Brianna, you have an upcoming book coming out September 8th, I believe.
Yes.
Please tell us about that.
Okay, so it's called Grits and Glamour. It is the first in series for a romance collab called Romance on the Menu. So all of the books, there's 3 books that all have food and fall, and it's with Jordana Loft and Storm Schultz, but mine is about a celebrity and his personal chef. And she gets hired as a personal chef, and she's really excited to pay off her bills. But what she didn't know is that he is hiding a sister that he's been raising, and she has really been hired on to be her companion and not necessarily just the personal chef. So she's like a babysitter, but he couldn't like put that in the interview process because he wanted it all to be anonymous and her not to know who was hiring it. And they fall deeply in love, and it's very fun.
Okay.
I'm really excited. It's a Christian collab. So we mentioned that I write Christian rom-coms and the Christian dystopian, but I do have like just a strictly sweet rom-com, Forget Me Not. So it was nice to dive back into Christian fiction and to kind of have everything centric on the gospel and going from there. So I'm really excited about it. It's a fun book. Yeah.
Did any of Lawrence's ideas make it into this book?
Remember, we haven't talked about this one much. Lawrence.
Her notebook is key because we go back to that notebook.
I do write in the notebook a lot. Lawrence thinks that I use too much alliteration. So the main character is Roman Rivers. He's like
Yeah.
Garland's grits. So
Garland's grits.
So I'm sure that there is something in this one that I don't know. This one, it was pretty easy for me. I don't feel like I needed a bunch
Guys,
of help on
I
this one.
haven't read a word of this book, but she giggled to herself a lot. I mean,
it's funny. I'm really proud of it. I think that like I really enjoyed writing Forget Me Not so much, and it was probably the easiest book I've ever written, and I just loved writing it. And I was really worried that I was gonna peak. Like that was it. I'm never gonna write another good book. And so when I wrote this one, I was like, oh man, she still got it. I like this one. I'm excited for it to be, and it's fun to be the first in a collab because you kind of get the hype moving for the other girls. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a really, it's encouraging. And it's gospel centric. So I'm excited. How many times?
I'm excited too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's a collab in the way of like, do the characters appear in other books, or it's kind of like in the same universe?
No, so it's in the same universe. We do mention each. So if you read my book, you're going to hear just a small mention of each of their characters. So mine is set in Atlanta. Most of mine are in Georgia somewhere. Storm's is set in Alaska, and Jordana's is set in New York. So it was a challenge to try to mention each of their characters. But yeah, so it's one of those ones where you can read any of them in any order and it won't. There's, no bearing on the story whatsoever.
But maybe they meet two lawyers.
Oh my gosh. I'm writing it down. I'm going to write this, but I will change it. And you're going to be so mad about how I change it, but it'll be fine. You'll read it.
We'll know. Lawrence will know.
Yeah. So Lawrence, I should
One
get
day I'm going to write my own book and I'm not going to change anything.
I will say I will put on the record right now that 2 years ago, Lawrence had a really good idea for a book and we sat down and we plotted it and conceptualized it. And one day I will write that book. And sometimes he's like, when are you going to write that book?
Because I am terrible at writing, just for the record. So
you're just so smart in other ways, though.
No.
So I think when that book will have your name on it. Yes.
Nice.
Did you work on it?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you. He will be too.
Okay. Side note question, Brianna, for your writing, are you a plotter or a pantser, or both?
I plot. I do. So I do a circle graph where sometimes I'm so specifically now because I have two worlds. I have Sugar Tree and I have Honey Hill, and I constantly have all these different characters that I'm trying to think, okay, am I going to write a romance for them? How am I going to connect them? So I have these circle graphs, which is just like a circle. And then every time I get an idea, like the book I'm writing on right now is the second in the Honey Hill book. Every time I get an idea for that book, I put it in my circle, and it is a mess. I don't know if I could show you one right now, but it's just kind of just tons of quirky ideas. Like they get in a fight in a bathroom, they meet on an airplane, whatever it is. And then
Don't you dare steal
and then when I get down to writing, usually I have an idea for how the first or second chapter will go. So I'll write the first couple chapters, and then I do have to sit and plot pretty well. My first book, I did not plot, and it showed. And I did things that I couldn't take back once I wrote the second one. So I try to plot. It's loose, like I can change it, but then as I use those ideas, I cross them off of my list, and I feel like I have a more thorough like idea of where things are going because I just have things on my giant messy circle graph.
Good.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And with music, I have a hard right now. My challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, so all of my rom-coms have a playlist with them, and my family is all very opinionated about the songs. The other night I was like, okay, this is the playlist, but if I don't feel like it's working, I actually can't write the book. I'm having a hard time right now because one of the songs wasn't working. And it's a song that Lawrence was like, well, I don't like that song. So that's probably why it's not happening for you. So I do a lot of plotting. And then now I do, as I'm driving, it's funny. I'll hear a song and then I'll make my oldest text me the song and whatever book it's going to go to. So I don't forget which playlist I want to put that on. So plots and playlists, alliteration.
Love it. I sent you a song thing the other day. I was like, this has to go on your, it was Lemonade with four. I'm like, this song has to be somewhere in some book that you have because the song is
You're
amazing.
Forrest Frank fans.
Yeah.
Big time here. Yeah. And Josiah Queen. Do you know Josiah Queen?
Yes, I saw him in concert. He was in, did you not go? He was in Maryland in Silver Spring.
No, I didn't. I just went to the Maverick City music concert with Tony though, and that was really good. But man, Josiah Queen, and I've been trying to get our kids on him. They're just solid songs and they're so good and catchy and yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. He also does really well in concert. He's really personable, really fun. Yeah, Josiah Queen was great in concert. Would recommend. That was a fabulous time. That venue's also really good. The Fillmore in Silver Spring.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so our last question. I hate to wrap it up, but I do want to respect your time. Why do you keep choosing love?
I think something we have been very aware of, I think since before marriage, but particularly in marriage, is that the Bible is pretty clear about like marriage is a reflection of how God feels about the bride and his church. And I think that's a pretty solid reason to just keep loving each other and a good reminder for us that like, hey, our marriage is a reflection of that. And it's easy. I mean, it's easy to choose to love you. I don't know if it's easy for other people to love each other, but I think like we love because he first loved us. Like, it's a very simple truth, you know. It's not hard to do here, but I think that love in marriage is something that you have to choose every single day, or in a relationship, or even like with your neighbors or people that you don't naturally want to love. Like, it's to choose to love someone is the first and greatest commandment, right? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. And that's that's marriage. That's the bigger slice of cake, you know?
I was going to say that he first loved us. Not that we loved him, but that he first loved us.
Yeah.
And I would say, you know, I think there's this view that love is always easy. And I think when you mentioned like how Christ pursues us as the bride, I think even in the hard times, like when, you know, whatever the circumstance, it's just remembering you walking down the aisle, and it was just that moment where it was like, hey, she's my bride. And I think it just makes the hard times clearer. They're still hard, but they make it clear that that's not going to change.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess it's this view that love is easy, and it's not always that way. But I think the more that you practice putting the other one first, it's very natural too.
Yeah. It becomes easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. Thank y'all.
That is smart.
This has been a ton of fun. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Brianna, do you want to share about where people can find you and find out more about your work?
Oh, yeah. So I am on Instagram and Facebook at author BR Goodwin. It's super simple. And my email is the same, authorbrgoodwin@gmail.com. And I say this to people. Candace, I know I've said this to you probably at events. Because we've met twice now. Have we met twice?
I think just once.
Once at the very least, yeah. I really love talking to people. Like, I love meeting people. So anytime I meet someone at an event, I'm like, please really do reach out. Like, I like meeting readers. I like, even if you aren't reading, I just like connecting with people, you know? So yes, please reach out. I would love that. Yes. Lawrence would love that. For people to reach out to you through me, though. Not to you.
Maybe if they were telling me how awesome
the idea is.
The idea
If you love his idea and you think, man, his wife should really write that, let us know.
Yeah. Not a bad one.
We'll see.
Look, there's too many love movies and books, and they have themes. I hear about them all the time.
They have tropes.
Exactly.
He makes up trope where he's like, we call that a lemonade twist, and he'll just make up like a random.
Yeah.
What's a lemonade twist trope? How does that work exactly?
I just make up words because there's always these acronyms and everything.
It's like a whole different language.
I didn't know that the author game was so gangster. Like, they got tropes and acronyms, and this means that, and I'm like, I guess the more you think about it, you put them in categories. You're like, oh, okay. Like, there's only 4, 5, 6 main themes.
In what?
Like romance? How people fall in love, you know, like in a book or a movie. You
There's
know?
a recipe for sure. What's your favorite trope?
Yeah.
Give me some of them. I don't remember all
Enemies
of them.
to lovers.
Enemies to lovers.
Marriage of convenience.
Friends to lovers.
Friends to lovers.
Friends to lovers. Obviously, that is the best one. That is the best, 100%.
When you think about it, like, can you come up with your own? Like, is there one that hasn't really been tapped into?
I mean,
if everyone writes enemies to lovers or friends to lovers and that type of stuff, like, what's one no one's ever written
so
about?
There's things that are like micro tropes, and that's where you get into like,
you know, woman-splaining.
Woman-splaining.
You know, a micro trope is like, you know, he takes care of her.
Mm-hmm.
That which is also top notch. in my book. Or, you know, he brings her moon pies. That's a micro trope. Like,
It's a very niche micro trope.
That's a very, you know.
What about at the end of the world where there's nobody there and
two
they're
lawyers
there?
meet?
No, they're just there and they're surviving and they're like, hey, we're the only people left. What was that?
That's called desperation.
And no choice whatsoever.
No options.
Yes. There's like workplace romance. There's
Look at her.
forbidden romance. There's like the brother's best friend or best friend's
I was about to
brother.
say brother's best friend. Age gap.
Mm-hmm.
Age gaps. You're not into that at all.
I'm not either. They got to be done right. Otherwise, it's kind of creepy to me.
Yeah, like when you read stories and it's like a 30-year age gap, you're like, that's
not quite that big. Not quite that big. That's yeah. More like 7 to 12 years. I think is.
There's a formula. It's got to be 7 to 12. Other than that, they're
you know
like
what?
a predator.
He doesn't even realize, but Maple Melodies is an age gap romance with a sister's best friend.
How far apart are Jenny and Ryan though? Isn't it like 7 years?
They're like 7 or 8 years apart.
Yeah.
They are, because he knew her when she was a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
and then she had to grow up and blossom into a young woman.
Just like what's his name on Little Women.
Oh my gosh! Yes, it actually. So yes,
Yeah.
Because I truly believe.
See, I pay attention.
I believe that he belonged with her and not with Joe.
No, Joe all the way.
No,
Joe all the way.
he belonged with her.
No, he
Divided
settled.
household.
In Little Women, we have
He
also
settled for her.
I can't do this with you
It's
right now
true.
in front of public. And
He-
we also don't agree on PETA and Gail. We have some very serious.
Wait, what are your thoughts on Peter and Gail? Because I was a Hunger Games girl.
Let's ask her
No.
thoughts first. Are you
Okay,
PETA?
yeah.
Are you Team PETA or Team Gail?
I think it also depends on book versus movie. I think in the books, I was more so Team Gail. I think in the movies, I was more so Team Peter.
You're splitting it though. Which one? If it's 50-50, it's one's got to be 51%. Which one are you more?
Pick the right
I'm
one.
I'm picking Peter. He
Okay.
really loved her. Like he loved her from the jump.
Thank you. He loved her from the jump.
Gail understood her.
No.
But did he love her though? Did he love her?
I think he did love her.
He
I
chased
think
her when her affections, she was showing it to somebody else. It was a competition.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's the bottom line. Hook, line, and sinker. There's only one person who knew what she went through. There's only
Sure.
one person.
But he
Sure,
was not manly enough for her. She was like wild and fierce, and then like PETA was baking cakes, and I just can't with that.
First of all, as a pastry baker, baking cakes is totally great. Like I am a home baker.
So I was like, she was like this,
He
like
baked the cake
strong.
at the beginning of the
And
movie.
here's the deal: Gail watched her. He saved her family. He was
murdered her
always
family.
no. He did by
did.
proxy, but he did not mean to. And he protected her. His entire life was about protecting her and making sure that she was safe. And they had a plan. And then PETA comes in with his cake decorating.
And also like helping her stay alive in the Hunger Games where she could have died, because literally that's the whole point.
Fake dating.
How
Fake
many
dating
times
is a
did
trope.
PETA
That's what they did.
sacrifice himself knowing that the chance
I
that
can't.
he could have died?
Let's all just agree that maybe she should have ended up with Haymitch. I would
What?
have rather.
Hey, Mitch? That's gross. So what's an age gap? That's
It's beyond 13 years, which has been clearly defined as creepy.
We
Yeah.
can't.
No,
This is
that's
right
terrible.
To divide us.
Well, I mean,
Let's not go to bed angry. Let's not go to bed angry.
Vampire or the werewolf?
Werewolf.
Come on.
Werewolf.
Are you?
Okay, hold on. This is purely based on the movie. I haven't seen no movies. I have read no books. I just find Taylor Lautner intensely more attractive than I find what's his
I'm
face,
telling
Robert
you,
Pattinson.
if you deep dive into the world that is Twilight and you dip your toes into those crystal clear blue waters, you're gonna be Team Edward. There's no
Because like
unless
it's
you're a
giving.
12-year-old girl with bad tastes, it's gonna be Team Edward. And Team Edward that he should have found someone better than Bella.
She didn't ask for any of this though, if I recall correctly.
She asked for it.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't read the books.
I said that inappropriately in a weird way,
He just
but
creeped on her for a little while.
He definitely creeped on her.
you haven't watched or read those.
No, this was popular in high school when I was in high school, and I was just like, it's weird and it looks lame. And then I heard it wasn't well written. And I was like, then what's the point?
It's not. That is kind of the point.
Foundations. What's the other one? The Office one.
Huh? What do you
Severance. Think? Those
Severance.
Are two worth investing in. Don't watch Twilight, even though some of my fondest memories of Twilight.
You love Twilight. I love the soundtracks for Twilight. Lawrence is just giving you all of our sci-fi things that we're into.
Good movie is, or good show is Severance, or
Severance is depressing, but it is interesting. Foundations is
sci-fi.
That's cool. It's sci-fi.
I've never heard of Foundations. I've heard of Severance. Haven't heard of Foundations.
Yeah, it's on Apple. All right, we did it.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for this. This was great.
Thank you so much. Thanks for thinking of us and letting us come on. It was really fun.
For sure. For sure. Love Origins is produced by Candace Spencer with music by Anthony Spencer of Noisy Dreads, LLC.